Hey everybody, today we're going to check out the Salomon X Ultra Mid 4 GTX boot. This is a really popular choice for people looking for a lightweight, waterproof, and well-rounded hiking boot that works well on mixed terrain as well as technical terrain. This is actually our pick for the best lightweight hiking boot of the season, so you're definitely going to want to stick around and check out this review. If you're new to the channel, my name's Ben, and I'm part of the team here at the Adventure Junkies, where we help people like you choose the right gear to get outdoors. If you want to learn more, visit our website at www.theadventurejunkies.com. Now, on to what you're really here for. The Salomon X Ultra Mid 4 GTX boot. Alright, so I have the pair of boots that I tested in the box today, but I've definitely put these to the test. They're nice and dirty, so don't expect... I've got dirt in my box. Don't expect brand new boots. So this is the mid version of the boot, meaning that it's not a low top and it's not a high top. It's a mid. So they retail for $165, which is on the high end out of all the boots that we've tested, and they're imported from Vietnam. You can pick one up in sizes 7 through 14, and they are available in a wide, although I did have a hard time finding the wide sizes. On most websites, they're listed as a completely different shoe. But just know that they are out there. So if you have a wide foot, and we'll get into this later, you're definitely going to want to check out the wides. So these are available in 3 different color combinations. The first one is Lunar Rock, Magnet, Butterscotch. The second one is Green Gables, Black, and Cumin. And the third one, the color that we have here today, is Black, Magnet, and Blue Pearl. In terms of weight, the Salomon X Ultra 4 GTX is fairly light, and it's actually lighter than the previous generation of the X Ultra. So I tested the size 13s, and as I said, every size is going to have a different weight. On my scale, the size 13s weighed 2 pounds, or 924 grams. So for a pair of size 13 boots, especially a pair of size 13 waterproof boots, I'd say 2 pounds, 924 grams. That's pretty lightweight, and definitely lighter than many of its competitors. So now let's take a look at the lacing system. Compared to other versions of the X Ultra 4, the Mid GTX version just has standard laces, and some other versions of this shoe/boot have the quick lace system. Standard boot laces here, nothing too out of the ordinary, pretty standard. Alright, so let's move on to talk about the waterproofness of the Salomon X Ultra 4 Mid GTX. So the X Ultra 4 comes in a few versions. As you might expect from the name, this version is waterproof. It has a gore-tex membrane to keep your feet dry and theoretically allow the boot to breathe. Not only does it have a gore-tex membrane, but the entire upper is treated with a DWR to help keep the water from ever reaching the membrane. In my experience, it's worked really well. I had it out in a spring snowstorm the other day, and it was really wet, and I didn't have any seepage or anything. I mean, I was avoiding knee-deep snow drifts, but yeah, it did pretty well. My feet were dry when I got home, so no complaints there. So there's only a waterproof version of this boot, so if you want something a little more breathable, unfortunately, you're going to have to look elsewhere. Alright, so let's take a look at construction and some of the features of the Salomon X Ultra 4. So let's take a look at the upper. They've decided to use traditional stitching on the upper, which I like to see. I think it helps with quality. Not everyone will agree. A lot of companies are going to strictly using welding technique to put the uppers together, and that helps with weight. But in terms of like durability and quality, I tend to like to see stitches still. Maybe I'm old school, but I do. So the upper uses a lot of synthetic materials, and that's probably fine. We have some concerns about how long some of these synthetics will last, but throughout our testing period, we've had 0 issues. And Salomon has a limited 2-year warranty on most of their footwear. So if you do have an issue, you definitely want to contact them, and you can just start filling out a warranty claim directly from their website. All right, moving on, still talking about the upper. Salomon calls this their anti-debris mesh, and that mesh is supposed to breathe, but really lock out dirt to help keep, rocks and debris and dust from getting between your foot and the footbed, which gets annoying, especially on long hikes. The one thing I find a little odd about this shoe, and some of that is to be expected because it is so lightweight, it just doesn't offer a lot of protection between the toe box and the heel. This heel portion here, you can see it's a lighter gray, offers some protection, but where I find the lack of protection is right around the ball of the foot. If I were crossing a talus field, I think you could definitely expect rocks to give you some trouble in that part of the foot. Really, really protective toe cap there. But yeah, I mean, I guess to cut weight, you have to cut protection somewhere. I would just like to see a little more through the ball of the foot there, especially for a boot. I think most people who are buying a mid boot do want some protection, but yeah, overall, not a ton of protection. So this piece here, and you can see it runs all the way under the foot and up to the laces here. They call that their advanced chassis. So this piece really just helps with lateral support, your foot moving side to side, and help maintaining mobility and some flexibility. However, if you read reviews, it seems like this is the area where a lot of people get pain in the arches of their foot. So although Salomon says that it offers a lot of support and stability, it seems to be bothering some people. And actually, in my testing, that's where I found to have pain with this shoe as well. I have a wide foot, and I actually tested the non-wide version. I do think if I tested the wide version that my foot would be much happier in this section of the boot. Is the boot stiff? Let's do the twist. No. No, it's not stiff. And I really like that about this boot. I do not like stiff boots. Footwear is very subjective. What I like definitely isn't going to be what you like, and what you like isn't going to be what your friend likes. So I do encourage you to try all of these boots on before making a purchase anyway. Not super stiff, nice and flexy. I like it. It has a flexy feel when I'm on the trail, and I really like that. Stability. This boot doesn't offer a ton of stability. I found actually, and I was able to correct some of this with the lacing technique, but I found that when I was hiking, my ankle slipped around, and one of the reasons that I would purchase a mid boot is for that extra ankle stability. My foot definitely stayed in the footbed of the shoe, did not slide around, so it had that type of stability, but it let my ankle slide around. So I would like to see a little more stability up here. It's pretty flexy. Again, I was able to correct that with some lacing techniques, but you'll just have to mess around with that. So for support, I think in terms of support, this is a middle of the road boot for me. The Ortholite insole and just the design of the boot helped my foot stay in place. I didn't have any sliding around or bashing against the toe cap. As I said, with protection, there's not a lot of cushioning. This piece right here is all pretty thin. Thin, you would expect that for a lightweight boot, so as I said before, not a total surprise, but there's just not a lot of cushioning. You have the upper, which is a little cushioned around the ankle. It's comfortable around the ankle, but then this whole area here is not super cushioned. All right, so let's talk about the toe box. Do you like a narrow toe box? Do you like a wide toe box? It's totally up to you. There is no right, there is no wrong. Some people will say a narrow toe box helps give them that locked in feel and prevents their foot from sliding around, and other people say, no, I want a wide toe box because it lets your feet swell and gives you more room to spread your toes, which gives you more stability. For me, I prefer a wider toe box. These are pretty narrow. The heel was narrow also, which I found odd, but yeah, kind of a narrow toe box, but the toe box is protected for the most part by this really dense toe cap. So in terms of whether these are hot or not, I will preface this by saying I think all waterproof boots are hot. Everybody who makes a waterproof, breathable membrane for footwear claims high breathability. I don't know. I wore these on a 65-degree day with normal hiking socks, and my feet were warm, hot. So I think they might breathe a little bit, probably a little better than some other waterproof boots, but yeah, not a ton of breathability here. Break-in period. I didn't really have too much of a break-in period with these. I think they were pretty good right out of the box. Because I have a wider foot, I needed the synthetics to stretch a little bit, but after a mile or two, they felt fine. And I didn't have any blisters or hot spots or anything like that either. So let's look at the sole. Salomon uses the chevron lugs. I found them to work really well. I tested them on loose gravel, wet mud, dry mud, granite, limestone, sandstone, and they were really grippy. They were really grippy on all of those terrains, so the chevron lugs definitely work well. So Salomon would attribute all of that grip to their use of their Contagrip rubber on the outsole here. It's soft, it's sticky. There are plenty of reviews online, surprisingly, of people complaining that this sole wears down quickly. And that could be that they're wearing it on pavement too often, or who knows what, but just be aware of that. I didn't have any issues. These still look brand new. Again, plenty of miles on it, but just something to be aware of when you're shopping around. If you're enjoying this video, please remember to like and share so more people like you can find it. So how easy is it to lace them? It is very easy to lace them. They lace like every pair of boots you've ever worn. Nothing out of the ordinary here. I think they're pretty true to size, at least for me. I always wear a size 13. I got these in a size 13 and they fit fine. They are narrow. The heel is narrow, the toe box is narrow, the arch is narrow. They're just a narrow shoe, but they have wide sizes. If you have a wide foot, I'd definitely check out the wide sizes. In terms of comfort, they're fine. Middle of the road for me. It's hard for me to rate how comfortable they are because they are a narrow boot and I'll need to try the wide size, but I think they're mostly fine. You'll just have to try them on for yourself. In terms of comfort for me, also, I hit a lot of pain right here at the beginning of the ball of my foot, and that's probably because the arch is so narrow. I was getting a lot of pressure right there. Support, we talked about, it keeps your foot locked in really nicely actually. My foot wasn't sliding around on the footbed at all. The only place of lack of support that I noticed is around the heel, and I was able to fix that with, fix most of it with different lacing techniques. How grippy is the outsole? The outsole is super grippy. It worked on every type of terrain I tried it on. The rubber's soft, grippy on limestone, sandstone, granite, mud, loose gravel. No complaints there at all. For waterproofness, remember we have the gore-tex membrane as well as a proprietary DWR coating that Salomon adds to the upper to prevent water from ever getting to that membrane. Alright, so just to kind of wrap things up here for the Salomon X Ultra 4 Mid GTX boot. It can be purchased for $165, so definitely on the high end there. And the size 13s that we tested weigh exactly 2 pounds, or 924 grams. So pretty light for size 14s, honestly. And you can find sizes in sizes 7 through 14. And remember, if you want a wide size, definitely check them out. They're usually listed on websites as a different boot, but they're definitely out there. So there's no way around it. This is a hiking boot in terms of versatility. I wouldn't trail run in it. I wouldn't use it as a walking shoe. It's definitely a technical shoe for varied terrain and for long distances. There's a lot of reviews online about people buying these to work in. I personally would not buy a $165 hiking boot to work in, but to each their own. But in terms of multi-sport activities, this is a hiking boot. I wouldn't trail run in it. It's for hikers who are moving light and fast in the mountains. All right, so just to recap things we really like about this boot. First and foremost, it is lightweight, and we love that. They don't breathe incredibly well, but they do breathe better than most waterproof boots, especially ones that we tested this year. That's not to say they're super breathable, but they do breathe a little bit. They're definitely super waterproof. They're also pretty stable in the footbed. Your foot won't do a lot of sliding around, and the sole is nice and grippy. Things we don't like or that we think they could improve on. I had a lack of stability in the ankle for sure. They're hot, they're warm boots, and there's not a ton of protection in this 4-foot ball of your foot area, and I'd like to see a little more, especially for a mid-height hiking boot. Other than that, great boot, and I think a lot of people out there are going to really like it. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and share it so more people like you can find it, and we'll see you next time. Happy hiking! Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you don't know what gear to bring hiking, or maybe you've just wasted money on the wrong gear in the past, then you definitely need to get a copy of this book. It's called The Beginner's Guide to Hiking Gear, and we've created it with the total beginner in mind. It'll help you learn what gear you need versus what gear is just nice to have versus what gear you don't need. It covers everything you need to know, including how to choose each item and specific product recommendations based on your budget, gender, hiking destination, and more. You can pick it up on Amazon, and it's available in paperback and for the Kindle. Check out the link in the description below. Happy hiking!